Oh my goodness. They are really wonderful. And I will crave them if I have not had them for a while. And they're extremely nutritious, as is spinach. What do I think about the organic versus the non-organic?
Okay. I'm confused, organic, non-organic.
How did we get there?
You know, I mean, organic means, if you mean by organic that it's not been touched by any hormones or pesticides, is that what you meant with the organic?
Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
No chemicals.
I bought into it. I bought into the organic. I did. I tend to buy vegetables that are organic and fruits.
Do you feel healthier?
As a result, I have to say that I feel healthier as a result of having more fruits and vegetables.
Oh, that's it.
That's really when I noticed that I was feeling healthier. Not necessarily because I went to organic fruits and vegetables. I think it's a psychological thing that I hear it, and I'm in a household where organic vegetables are really valued, so I got hooked up in that. So, but I don't know, I don't know. But I know that the fruits and vegetables as predominant in my diet help me feel healthier and more alert. And the dark green vegetables in particular have been really, really wonderful.
How much do you eat the dark greens every day?
I try to eat them 3 times a week. Not every day. I can't eat anything every day. Water. Okay, so that's about vegetables. Let's see what else we have. Well, that's about salt. We already know we can't have salt. High blood pressure. But the spices, does anyone have favorite spices? Oh, I know somebody
Pepper.
must have favorite spices.
Like fresh cracked pepper.
I do. What did you say, Rob?
I mean, does it make an Indonesian paste of mixture of hot pepper, garlic, onion, tomatoes? No potatoes?
Do you find that they are a good substitute for salt?
Oh, yes.
Anybody else? Does anyone find they're not a good substitute for salt?
Well, if you eat sambal like what you mentioned,
Yes.
that has to have salt.
It has to have salt?
Yeah, probably there's salt in it. And do that later.
Without salt, it won't taste anything.
Oh, okay.
No,
Because it got the hot pepper.
Yes.
So to balance the hotness of the pepper, you put salt. Salt is not that bad. Is it that bad?
It's just the amount of salt.
Yes.
And
Your body needs salt.
yes.
yes. When people eat out a lot, they tend to get more salt in their diet because food flavor is enhanced with it. That's also true with canned foods. So it's the content of salt. A food that is supposed to be so wonderfully nutritious and really could be. Really could be. The V8 juice.
Yes.
It has so much salt.
No,
Huge.
No, that's where my morning breakfast is made. It is called very veggie organic
Yes. Yeah.
and no salt.
And that one does not have salt.
but even again with salt, I don't know how much of it is again over hyping of it. I would put it this way: if you have high blood pressure, then certainly if you have high blood pressure, you have to be aware of salt. I have low blood pressure, and I eat plenty of salt.
That's very different.
And I don't worry about it. I look at my blood pressure, it hasn't gone up. So I say, again, the individual body should be more of it determined
People with low blood pressure have a whole different relationship to salt than people who have higher blood pressure. Yes. Go ahead.
What's interesting is olive oil, now they're making this whole big thing about the Mediterranean diet that's been around for thousands of years, and yet if we look at the Hellenic and the West American community, again, very heavy into the Mediterranean diet, but yet they have one of the highest rates of diabetes. Why? The desserts. And this is where a lot of people go crazy. That is, they will have a good diet, but when you get to the desserts, for example, you even look at a piece of butter, your blood sugar shoots up by 50 points.
Right. Right.
And also, the fact that, well, you know, having worked in Alzheimer's, that you have certain ethno-racial cultural groups that are more vulnerable to Alzheimer's, 10 to 20 years younger than your annual population. Part of it has to do with that. One of the groups is the Latino. Why? You've got very high in starch. Plantains, very, very high.
The carbohydrate.
They eat rice 3 times a day, the white rice.
Yes.
And a lot of fried food. Yeah. For example, you come across 106 seafood, you have these little pizzeria, and just the smell of them shoots up your cholesterol. Because again, it's deep fried pig's feet. Or tripe.
Deep fried.
Pig's feet or tripe.
Okay.
And they believe that this is cause and effect for their earlier Alzheimer's.
They have found that diet plays a very, very important role in Alzheimer's, and also the obesity. For example, now we're seeing there's about 500,000 Mexicans living in New York City. The big community is out in Jackson Heights, Queens. And you look at some of these young women, and not only do they have a slew of kids, but they're so obese. Because again, the enchiladas, the tacos, good stuff. But again, it's got to be, one has to exert a lot of discretion.
That's very true. Yeah, but it makes a difference. I was thinking about that Mediterranean diet that you were talking about, the olive oil, how healthy that can be. Right. Until you get to the dessert.
I think out of all the foods, sugar is the most toxic.
Yes.
We have children with autism, with hyperactivity, with allergies. I have a 7-year-old grandson. His heart beats fast. I never heard of that. Sugar.
Right.
Sugar is I think, the most toxic food.
Okay.
I can attest, having worked in the school system as a clinician, a social worker, and psychologist, I can attest, these special ed kids, they would let them out for lunch, they would go and they would buy sugar, and they would come back after, and these kids were off the wall. It was totally lost afternoon because of the hyperactivity.
But stimulated by the diet.
By the chocolate.
Okay.
So in the morning they would not have it right.
Not compared to the afternoon.
Okay. So we have some things that are standing out. You mentioned omega-3, which is really important. We haven't talked about that. But a preponderance of vegetables and fruits are very, very important. Keeping our bodies hydrated, very important for us. As we get older, to have foods that are more easily digestible. I think that's also the issue around the increase in fruits and vegetables for people over 70 is also part of a whole issue of digestion, because the food is not digested as easily. So, and something's happening right now, because I had a thought, and now I want to go back to that thought while you were talking about the development of Alzheimer's in people. So the heavily sugared and carbohydrate diets contribute to the development of plaque.
Right.
That's
the correlation between diabetes.
That's what we would
and
have to
Alzheimer's.
say.
Alarming research on that today.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Because that's really important. So is there another burning question about nutrition? Is there somebody who wants to do some outlandish thing like have tiramisu for the
No,
whole
I would
week?
just ask the question.
Hmm.
Michelle Obama got very involved with children's school, remember?
Mhm.
What happened? Where are we on that now? Did something happen or it just dropped out?
I don't think it
It's
dropped
still
out.
happening. I think it's still
Excuse
going
me?
on. I think it's still going on.
It's still going on.
Shortages, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the food in these schools is atrocious. It still is, with all the so-called changes that have taken place. I mean, they had the Snapple machines in the schools. I don't know whether a friend of Bloomberg was getting a kickback, but they just removed those things. And whether it's diet or the regular Snapple, I mean, the sugar content is quite high. So again, this also had access, the students had access to this thing. And how many times have you seen kids coming in to school early in the morning with a big bottle of Coke, just drinking it? Years ago, when I worked with pregnant students, I mean, they would come into school and I would say to them, "You really want to kill your baby?"
But don't you think it's better than it was? There's at least a consciousness. Even the kids who are not very well informed already now know that this is not good for you.
Well,
so they're not get disciplined.
We're a little better off. We're
And-
a little better off.
Aren't the machines selling better products? I don't know. I'm not in school anymore.
Well,
no, they're still the same.
I worked at a school last year for my internship, and a majority of the time, their choices were only pizza or chicken fingers. Like that was their choice.
Chicken fingers and
Pizza.
And pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in their cafeteria.
Yeah, and that was their only choices that they got.
Every day?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Where's this?
It was Choir Academy in East Harlem.
Choir Academy.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a charter school?
Yeah.
Because it's the name sounds like
Yeah.
it might be charter school.
Well, I'm surprised.
Yeah, it was. They wouldn't want to eat it either. It was very.
This is not that, you're not saying this is what they chose. You're saying they're limited to those.
Yeah, it was
limited
one or
to
the other.
those.
And I worked there like 3 days a week, one day after Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and those were the choices that they had.
That's horrifying. We need a committee to start
Mm-hmm.
protesting.
And then if they go out, they would go out to a Pizza Hut or a McDonald's.
Yeah,
or
there's
Popeyes.
McDonald's up the street. They go
Right,
after school and go
right,
there.
right. These are always located right in the schools.
Mm-hmm.
Big market.
It does, yeah.
Well, this has been a fascinating discussion. I really am happy we were able to talk about that and just remind ourselves of what's good and what we need to do for ourselves. And maybe we can get a committee together and challenge the schools somehow. in
There's
regard
one
to-
more thing I think we did not cover, whole and pasteurized.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
What we talk?
Pasteurized and versus whole. Whole milk, well, unpasteurized. Yeah. Raw milk. That's raw milk. That's not pasteurized. We didn't talk about that, but it's not very, we don't hear about that a lot.
No.
Who drinks raw milk?
Can you?
Yes.
Against the law.
Yes, you can drink raw milk. There are companies that make it, and it does get sold in the stores.
Why?
What is the food that is not whole? What is the other word for it?
Skim.
Not pasteurized, something else.
Skim milk? Reduced fat?
No, the food that is like creamy as compared to whole.
Are you referring to milk in particular?
No, this doesn't apply this milk. It applies all food.
To all food.
Whole versus, I don't know the word anymore.
I'm not sure what you're reaching for.
Whole food, no, pasteurized. The food is
No, we have homogenized. Are you thinking of homogenized? We have pasteurized and homogenized milk.
If I think of it, I'll come to
What
you.
do those things mean?
I'll tell you.
I don't know.
It's such a good question. Well, pasteurized milk is milk that's brought to a particular temperature
Uh-huh.
in order to kill the bacteria. Now, what does it mean? We have a biologist. What does it mean when it was homogenized? Did they mix the fat in? They thoroughly mixed the fat in to make it homogeneous.
You used to see the separation.
Yes.
When you bought milk. You saw
As a
the
matter of
cream.
fact, you could pour the cream off the top of the milk
Wow.
and use it for your coffee. Hello. Good, thank you.
Well, I have to say, but how potent, how effective your discussion was, I'm throwing this sugar out now. I can't eat it.
I absolutely think that that is correct, that sugar is really a villain. And especially we have refined sugar. And so, but what we're learning is even the sugar that we get in our vegetables can be too much, that it's still sugar. So we need to just get it from our vegetables and not add it to our
Splenda is
foods.
not good too. Splenda is not good. Sweet and low is not good. That is chemical.
Yes, that's correct.
No, it's interesting. I have, again, cholesterol runs in the family, and I've been taking Lipitor for close to 12 years, which is a statin. And of course, I follow the blood work every 2 months. And in looking at the literature, statins are supposed, what's interesting is that statins are supposed to delay the onset of dementia, the Alzheimer's rate. So again, I don't know if there's any literature, but again, research can be all very, very, very.
That's encouraging since you've been on it.
Yeah, but again, it's had